Hi guys, today we are going to learn about CSS animations. An animation lets an element gradually change from one style to another. You can change as many CSS properties you want, as many times as you want. To use CSS animation, you must first specify some keyframes for the animation. First of all, go to our index.html in our folder 6 and insert our boilerplate, then link the CSS folder to our HTML file by going to DAY6 folder, then CSS folder and style.css file. Then inside our body element, we are going to have a header, and in this header we are going to call it CSS animation, and then we are going to have an empty div. We are just going to have a div without anything in it, and we are now going to style our div in our style.css file. Activate your browser. So we will begin with div, and we give it a width of 100 pixels and a height of 100 pixels. We are going to give it a background color red. We give it animation name and call it example. Then our animation, we want it to have a duration of 4 seconds, so we'll write 4s. The next thing we are going to write is at keyframes, and in these keyframes it's a rule that the animation will gradually change from the current style to the new style at certain time. Call the name of our animation, which is example, and we are writing from background color red, it's going to change to background color yellow. And now you can see in our browser that after 4 seconds it is changing its color from red to yellow. In the example that we have written above, we have specified when the style will change by using the keywords from and to, which represent 0% to start and 100% to complete. So it is also possible to use %. By using %, you can add as many style changes as you want. So the following example will change the background color of the div element when the animation is 25% complete, 50% complete, 75% complete, and 100% complete. So in our 0%, we are going to have color red. 25%, it will change color to yellow. 50%, it will change the background color to blue, and 100%, it will change its color to green. Now the next example that we are going to look at is where now the div, it will change both the background color and the position of the div element. When the animation is 25% complete and 50% complete, and again when the animation is 100% complete. When it is 0%, the background color will be red, the left 0 pixels and top 0 pixels. Then we have when it is 25%, left will be 200 pixels and top will be 0 pixels. Then we'll have 50%, it will move to the left 200 pixels, then top 200 pixels. When it is 75%, our div will move to the left 0 pixels and on top 200 pixels. Then when it is about to finish 100%, it will move to the left 0 pixels and on top 0 pixels. And this is how our animation or our div will move. When this animation is finished, it goes back to its original state. The next thing we are going to look at is what we call delay animation. We are going to use this property that is known as animation delay, so that we can delay our animation when the div is starting or when our element is starting. So we'll just add here animation delay, and we give it 2 seconds. Now you'll see before our element begins, you'll see that the animation will delay 2 seconds and then it starts. We also have negative values that are also used in animation. When we use negative values, the animation will start as if it had already been playing for a number of seconds. You'll see animation delay, and then we give it a negative 2 seconds. The next thing we are going to look at is how many times we want our animation to run. So we are going to use a property known as animation iteration count. So we will comment on this, add animation iteration count property, which specifies the number of times an animation should run. Okay, and in our case we are going to give it run 3 times. The next property we are going to look at is a property called infinite. Our example uses the value infinite. We are going to use the infinite value, and it will make the animation to continue forever. It will never stop. It will just continue running. So I'll copy paste the same code that we've been using. Animation iteration count, we are now going to give it infinite, and it will just continue running and running and running and running, and it will never stop. The other thing we are going to look at is what is called animation, to run animation in a reverse direction. And in this reverse direction, our animation has been going clockwise. So when we insert this alternate reverse, when we write animation direction and we give it reverse, it is going to go backwards, or it is going to go anti-clockwise. You can see it's going anti-clockwise. We are going to specify the speed curve of the animation. The animation timing function property specifies the speed curve of the animation. And for us, we are going to have our div. And in this div, in our HTML file, we are going to have div, and we are going to give it an ID. So we are going to have div1 to div5 with linear is in, is out, is in, and out. And we are going to style our div again. We are going to have a width of 100 pixels, a height of 50. Background color, we're going to give it red, and then font weight will be bold, position, relative, and animation, we're going to give it the name my move and 5 seconds, and then animation fill mode, we are going to write forwards. So we will begin with our div1, and in our div1 we are going to style our div. Because it is an ID, we begin with hash div1, and then we say animation timing function, we're going to give it linear. Then our div2 will copy and paste this 5 times. Then here we have div2, div3, div4, and div5. Then we have is animation timing function is in, is out, and is in, out. Then at keyframes, we are going to write at keyframes my move. It's going to start from left 0 pixels to left 300 pixels, and you'll now be able to see the speed curve of the animation when it runs. Okay.